fellas, we got her running. There's a little backstory to this and why I haven't posted a video in a while, which I'll tell you here at the end of the video what happened. But we got her in, got her running. We decided to not do the cutouts in the muffler. We just went fender exhaust. It was the easy button, if you know what I mean. So, but we're bleeding her out right now, getting the air out of the cooling system, and yeah, she's running good. Right around 90, 100 cold. I got a 1030 in there now. What we got now? Let's see if we can. 55 pounds at an idle, warm, hot, whatever. Fuel pressure is about 50. 14.8 on the air fuel. 20 inches of vacuum. Idling about 1,000 RPM or so. That's what I got set at. So there's that. Half tank of fuel. I still gotta put together the inside of the car, but this is what we got so far. Working good. We'll take her on her maiden voyage here shortly, and I'll bring you along, and we'll get the ring seated, get everything going on it. So I'll cut you back on here in a second. All right, guys. So yeah, the story of what happened with the car and why it had been so long since I had made a video, and I'll show you what took so long. I got it. Hold on a sec here. Have to get the stuff. So I can display it. Grab it down here. So we got it running. You saw the video of the first start. Everything was good for a little while. Got about an hour runtime on it, and you know, all of a sudden we would have trouble. It would crank slow when it was hot. You know, it would sound like the battery's dead or something. You know, so I was looking at it, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Thought it was maybe a ground issue because I got the battery in the trunk, so I thought maybe I didn't have a ground directly to the block from the battery, so figured maybe I was getting some resistance when hot, and I needed a big cable. So I ran a double-aught ground cable from the battery to the block itself, and didn't help it. Still had a issue starting hot. It was slow crank. Shortly after that, it got to the point where it would either crank over a couple times when it was cold, or not even crank at all. Just click, you know. I put a breaker bar on the crank, and it was locked up tight. So I knew something was wrong. So I spent a night out here and pulled the engine, everything out of it, tore it down, and yeah, this is what I found. I'll show you here. So this is what I found. The number 1 and number, I guess it would be 5, that are on the same journal on the crankshaft. I fucked up, basically. Let me see if you can see it. You see this little taper, this little bevel on this side of the big end of the rod, and the other side is flat. Well, this taper needs to go towards the fillet on the crankshaft. So you got two rods that are stacked next to each other, one going to one bank and the other one going to the other bank. You need the flat side of the rod like this. You need both of them up against each other, and then the beveled side of each rod needs to go out towards the crank. Okay, see if I can get you a better picture. You see how it's beveled there? That needs to go towards the crank. Well, my I guess it'd been number 5 rod I had installed backwards, so the fillet was facing the other rod, and you can see what it did to it. It overheated the shit out of it, both of them. The other one's right here, I got hanging on the wall. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see how it turned blue around where it was rubbing. It got so hot, it started to spin a bearing. I caught it just in time. These are aluminum bearings, and I caught it just in time, and to save the crank. The crank wasn't damaged. I was able to polish the bearing material, the aluminum material off of the crank, and was able to reuse it. So I had to order 2 new rods, all new set of bearings, all that shit trash up from this went through all the bearings. So I put new main and rod bearings, 2 new rods, I swapped head gaskets as well, just to be safe. I didn't want to put the ones back on, which I probably could have, but I just went ahead and changed them with some new ones on there and put the thing all back together. So that was my fuck up there. But now we got go ahead and toss this over here. Got the car back together, and rod's in the right way. And she's man, she starts up fucking snap of a finger, man. She's on it. We got the startup tune and the idle tune pretty good, at least in this temperature of weather, 70 to 90 degrees. So she fires right up. We just finished bleeding the coolant. I think I got all the air out of it. She was sitting there idling about 190, so that's not bad at all. It's about 80 some degrees here right now. But the weather, looks like some weather's starting to come in, so temperature's dropping a little bit, but it's about 80 degrees, so she fired up nice. I'm happy with that. So at this point, guys, we're to the step where we need to get it on the street and do some tuning that way. Get it close, and then we can take it to the track and do some full throttle runs, some boost runs, and get the map and everything dialed in for that. So, but other than that, everything seems okay right now. It's running good. It's got good oil pressure, good temp. Everything sounds good. So I think we're good there. But yeah, so I spent a couple nights getting that in, man. It was a pain in the ass. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a pain in the butt, man. I tell you, they fighting that fucking transmission by yourself with a Harbor Freight Transjack, pain in the ass. But I got it in there eventually, and got everything bolted up, and got her fired off, and everything was good, man. So, but that was the reason why it's been a little while since I put a video out, because at that point when I found that crank seized up, man, I was kind of down in the dumps, man. It's a lot of work taking that thing in and out, but I had to pull it out. And then once I got it torn apart and I figured out, okay, I fucked up, made a mistake, just got to fix it. I mean, can't sorrow about it and be pissed about it. Yeah, it costs a little bit of money. Ended up costing about $600 to get a couple rods and some new sets of bearings to get the crank polished up, but in a little bit of time. But learn from your mistakes and move on, man. So that's what I did, and we got her in there, and she's running good now. So if it don't rain before it gets dark here, we'll probably take it out on the street, do a couple run-ups and engine braking and gear to get the rings all seated. And everything's seated in, everything broke in. So that's what we'll do if it doesn't rain. If not, I'll just throw this video up to give you guys a little update, and the next video will be of us doing a little street tuning. And then shortly after that, man, once we get her all dialed, we're where we're going. We're going to the track. Hopefully we can get her into nines the first day, first track visit. But we're not gonna push it. We're gonna creep up on it. No need to go, send it with everything it's got and have something happen. So we'll creep up on it, hopefully get into the nines first trip, man. And then after that, we'll be shooting for the eights, because it's got enough to go to the eights. Just a matter of getting the tune right and getting the chassis set up to hook and go down the track. So that's the update, guys, man. I appreciate you guys checking out the videos, subscribing and all that. Hopefully we have some exciting videos coming up, and I appreciate it. So we'll see you on the next one, guys.